Shalom, shalom, shalom. I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, his brother Yahweh, the servant, right? So we're going into the Hasmonean Dynasty, right? History on the Hasmonean Dynasty. So let's get everything set up. Share my screen. Gonna get into it. So get into it right now. Right. So so let's start off. All right, it says the Hasmonean dynasty was a ruling dynasty of Judea and surrounding regions during the Hellenistic times of the Second Temple period, from 140 BC to 37 BC. Between 140 and 116 BC, the dynasty ruled Judea simultaneously within the Seleucid Empire. Right, so we gotta go backtrack to what was the Seleucid Empire, right? So we can kind of get into it. We're gonna get into it, right? So the Seleucid Empire, right? It says the continual Hellenization of Judea pitted traditional Jews against those who were eagerly Hellenized. Salakia. The latter felt that. So I'm gonna read down. I'm gonna read out. I just want to get to the point. So and it says, matter of fact, I'm read. It says the latter felt that the former orthodoxy held them back. Jews were divided both between those favoring Hellenization of those opposing it, and over allegiance to the Ptolemies and Seleucids. Right. So this is going to the time when Seleucid was in power. Right. So this is a little bit after Alexander the Free. Right. Not the Great. He's not Alexander the Great. He's Alexander the Free. Right, so let's go into it, right? Because you might say, all this is biblical, right? We're gonna get straight to it. All right, I'm gonna get straight to it. We're gonna go to the book of Maccabees first, where this is mentioned. All right. So you go to Maccabees, right? First this is a part of Apocrypha, right? So the Apocrypha was is between the Old Testament and the New Testament, right? And then this is what you have to basically to the period before Yahweh Shah came on the scene. The things that was going on, right? After you leave off of Malachi, right, you got things that was still going on historically. And you find those things that was going on historically, right? Like it also has different books like Bell of the Dragon, the Editions of Esther, the Story of Judah, and so forth and so forth. Right. And one of the things that's also in there is the Maccabees, first and second Maccabees, right? And first and second Maccabees, they're basically, these two books are they go into the history of when the Grecians was in power, and it mentions some history also on the Romans. But most of it is going to when the Grecians was in power and the wickedness that was going on during those times. And then it goes to our mighty forefathers when they had what you call the Maccabean revolt, right? So it starts off. We're gonna start off with one. So it starts off here mentioning Alexander the Freak, right? People call him Alexander the Great, but he was a freak. So it says, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes. Right. So this is that's the I want to say that was the Battle of Guacamela. Right. The Battle of Guacamela. And you got to get into this history with things like that. Let me make sure the Battle of Guacamela. There, right there. The Battle of Guacamela. Right, yeah, that's what it is. The Battle of Guacamela. Right, so this happened around 30. 331 BCE, right? The Battle of Guagamela, right? It says, let me read this right quick, right? So you gotta hop into this stuff, man, right? You gotta hop into your history as well. When you get into the Bible, it's not just about this and that. It's also history as well, right? It's also history. History is very important because also with knowing history, you know how to it validates the Bible even the more, right? It validates the Bible even the more. Because see, the Bible, it actually matches up with things that happen historically, right? And well-known historians, right, validate the Bible. Because you're not somebody say, oh, the Bible ain't real. Oh, it's a real book. It's a real book. Real things happen, right? It's real people, real stories, right? But anyways, so what it's talking about Maccabees, right? We started off is going to the Battle of Guagamela, right? It says Battle of Guagamela, right? Clash between the forces of Alexander the Great, Alexander the Free, of Macedonian, and Darius of Persia that decided the fate of the Persian Achaemenid Empire. So this battle, right, was the deciding battle. This basically put the Persian Medes Empire in the trash, right? They was defeated. They was done after this. They were destroyed after this, right? That was that battle, right? So boom. And I ain't gonna get too deep into it, you know what I'm saying? Just gonna read it, just read a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Actually, it's a lot on this, but I really ain't want to too much to go too deep into it. But the point is that what we're reading about is it all connects to one another, right? When you go to the book of Daniel, right, in the book of Daniel, it actually prophesies about this happening, basically the downfall of the Persians and the Medes, right? It talks about that. So this battle, the Battle of Guagamela, right, was that determining battle. But you know what I'm saying? You can read this on your own time. The source is the Britannica, so you can go to the Britannica and go into to the Battle of Guagamela. It's saying it got a whole spiel, right? But what we can do though, we can go and kind of go into where it was at, right? So this right here is a visual, right? The battle, it says the battle. So right here it says we gotta learn how to read maps. So we see this sign that, right, that's what battle was. So they had battle over here, right? And this over here kind of towards Israel, right? They had battles over here. They had battles over here in Asia Minor, right? They had battles over here close by Armenia, right? They was getting it in, right? They had a battle way over here, right? Right, it was kind of it was getting it in, right? So, well, actually, this is actually the empire of Alexander the Great. So Alexander the Great, he actually he fought many wars, right? So this might be just a map of the many different wars that he had going on. But I thought it was going into the war that it was talking about, that we were just talking about, the Battle of Guagamela. But that's not. It's just a map though, showing his routes that he took, conquering all these different nations. And then when you see what we're gonna get into next, when his kingdom, when he died, right, how his kingdom was broken up to these different generals, and you see that they ruled in these very areas, right? This kingdom, this showing Alexander's kingdom right here, right, where you got Egypt, then you got this over here, the Mesopotamia, this region over here, you got Asia Minor, right? You got this Thrace and all that, Macedonia, all this thing. This is where he's from, right? So when his kingdom gets broken up, you're going to see that the people that his kingdom was left to, they occupied these regions that you see on this map, right? So let's go back, right, to First Maccabees, right? So this battle is talking about in First Maccabees chapter 1 says, and it happened after Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim, had smitten there is king of the Persians and Medes that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece, right? So that's the battle of Gaugamela. Right now, we're going to go to the book of Daniel to show you how this also ties in together, right? Daniel prophesied this happening, right? So we're going to go up, right? We're going to go up real quick. We're going to get into it, right? So it says, right, this Daniel chapter 8. I want to start at verse. We're going to start at verse 8 and 4. We're going to go 8 and 4, right? Right, and all this has to deal with the Hasmonean dynasty, right? We're going into, before we hop into the Hasmonean dynasty, we got to go into what transpired before the introduction of the Hasmonean dynasty, right? So you can have a full understanding of the history and the time period of what was going on, who was in rulership, what happened, right? All this tying into the Hasmonean dynasty, right? So we're gonna get into this, and then we go ahead and move on to jump into the Hasmonean dynasty. But we gotta get into all the crevices of this thing, right? It's a lot going on, right? So we're gonna go to like I said, we're not gonna go. I ain't gonna read this whole thing, but just to kind of show y'all how the Bible also connects, right? With what Daniel prophesied, you hear about reading it in the book of Maccabees, right? So we're gonna get into this thing, right? Right, and he says, I'm gonna just go to Daniel 8 and 4. It says, I saw Aram pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beast might stand before him, neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand. He did according to his will, and it became great, right? And it says, and as I saw, and I was considering, behold, and the he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth and touched not the ground, and the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. He came to the ram that had two horns, right? And those two horns is the Persians and the Mede Empire, right? Which I had seen standing before the river, right? And ran unto him in the furious power. And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and he smote the ram and break his two horns, right? That's going into the Persians, the downfall of the Persians and the Mede Empire. The battle of Gaugamela, which you just reading about in Maccabees, first Maccabees chapter 1, right? It says, and there was no power in the ram to stand before him, right? Because that battle, that was it. After that battle, that was it, right? Boom. Now you got Alexander free. Now he's in rulership, right? But cast him down to the ground and stamped upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand, right? And therefore the goat waxed very great. Alexander, he waxed very great. And that's when you see what that map that we showed, right? How he was conquering all these different places. Let's go back to that. That's what it's talking about, right? We right here, this map that we looking at right here, this is what it's going into, right? This is what it's going into when it's saying that his empire waxed great. This is oh my bad. This is Alexander's empire right here. So this we've seen that it waxed great. Look how much land he controlled, right? He controlled. He had a great kingdom, as they say, right? So that's what you're reading about in Daniel chapter 8, right? That's what you're reading about. But I said he waxed great. There we go, and we're seeing that how the Bible in history is cohesive. It's cohesive, right? It goes together. It sticks together, right? So it says, and when he came, he was strong. The great horn was broken, right? Like when it says that great horn was broken, meaning he died, right? Alexander died, and that's what we're about to get into, right? And for it came up four notable ones toward the four winds of heaven, right? So we're gonna get into that. So now we're gonna stop right there at Daniel, right? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump down. Cause one will say, well, how do you know this? If you jump down, really, just read down, it tells you the interpretation of the dream. Right? It tells you who the ram is. It says the ram which thou sawest having 2 horns, are the kings of Media and Persia. That's the Persian and Mede Empire, right? Simple, right? Says the goat. And the rough goat is the king of Grecia, talking about Alexander the Great, the freak, right? That's what it's talking about. And the great horn, that is between his eyes, is the first king, Alexander the freak, right? So it's going to this goat, the Grecian Empire, right? The first king, that horn, the first king was Alexander the freak, right? So boom. So it says now that being broken where it was, 4 stood up for it. 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power, right? So it's saying that four kingdoms gonna come out of this thing, right? It was one horn, Alexander, that was that horn. He died. After he died, then you got these 4 kingdoms that come out of it, right? Now that's we about to get into this, right? Again, all this connects to the Hasmonean dynasty, right? But we got to go into the history of what was going down, right? So let me get this off my thing. I don't know why this popped up. Okay. So boom. All right. Let's get into it. My bad. My stream. Okay. Now we back here. We back in First Maccabees now, right? So, and you can see again, you can see how the Bible it all comes together, right? So we're gonna go to oh man. All right. Verse 2, it says, and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. Right? So we're gonna jump down. It says, so Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. That's what you said, that he died. And his servants bear rule everyone his place, right? After his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. So then who is going to? Is going to the Diocletian, right? So we're gonna go into we gonna go into that. Let's go into that. Let's go into that. So y'all can kind of get now with that. It's all gonna tie into each other, right? I don't know. I think that's how you spell it. Damn. Bear with me. I gotta know how to spell everything. I'm gonna find. Let me bear with me. I'm trying to. Man, let me go into. Let me go. I'm gonna search it up this way. There we go. There we go. All right. So yeah, that's what I had spelled it wrong. So it's Diocletian. I spelled it wrong. It was Diadochi. I see. You know, that's how you spell it. I was spelling wrong. I was spelling hella wrong. Right. So that's what it was called though. It says after Alexander's great death, right? It said his empire was divided among his 4 generals, known as the Diadochi. Right? So that's where you get that term, the Diadochi, right? So you got to be able to get into this thing. So the Diadochi, right? What we talking about, right? That's connected to what it says right here. Wherefore his called his servants such as by what it says that they put crowns over his head, their heads, right? What it says and they all put crowns upon themselves, right? So they had their own little kingdoms. They had their own little kingdom going on, right? So let's go back to where we was at the Dynasty, right? So you had Lysimachus, right, who took Thrace, right, and much of Asia Minor, Cassander, right, who controlled Macedonia, Greece, Ptolemy, right, who ruled over Egypt, right, Palestine, Cilicia, Petra, and you had Seleucus, Nicator, right, and who ruled the remainder of Asia and founded the Seleucid Empire. See how that all connect? We was talking about how this is how it all connects to the Hasmonean dynasty, right? We just was reading. It says, who was that? Who was that? Where was that? We had went into it, yeah. It was yeah, it says opposing it was talking about the Seleucid Empire. We was reading that. Let me go up. Let me go up. Bear with me. Yeah. When we was up here, we was reading, we was saying, okay, it says the dynasty ruled Judea simultaneously within the Seleucid Empire. So that's where you get the Seleucid Empire, right? And then it was talking about the Ptolemies and the Seleucids going at it, right? Right, opposing over the allegiance to the Ptolemies or the Seleucids, right? Not going at it, but you had Ptolemy, which was one of the generals of the other general of Alexander the Great, right? So let's go back to it. Bear with me, right? So all this connects the dots. Sorry, I'm looking for my spot I was at. Okay, maybe I have to scroll down. Maybe I have to scroll down. Oh, there we go. There we go. I want to get a map. I want to get a map, right? Get a map. This is not the kind of map I want though. Let me see. Dial DT. Let me see. They got a map. Right. Right. So here it is. This is a perfect map. Right. Perfect map of what we was talking about. So right. So this is what it was talking about. So this is Ptolemy, right? This is Seleucus, right? Nicator, right? Which was the Seleucid Empire, right? You had Lysimachus, right, and Cassander, right, and Antigonus, right. Yeah, this is the map right here, Slocking. So this is the map. The Seleucid Empire here, right? You got the Ptolemy Empire here. You got Lysimachus. These are the four generals right here. Cassander, right? And then you had this was the Tigonus right here in this region right here. So this is Alexander Kingdom broken up, right? So now we understand. Okay, we got a backdrop. Okay, all right. So you had Alexander the Great, the Freak. Then you had him dying. Now you got the Diocletian. You got all these different kingdoms that they got set up, right? So boom. Now we're finna go deeper, right? And going more into the Hasmonean dynasty. We had to kind of get the backdrop. We got the backdrop. Now I finna go a little more back into where we was at, right? So, right here, right. So it says, and conflict broke out between High Priest Onias, who opposed Hellenization and favored the Ptolemies, and his brother Jason, who favored and Jason was wicked. And you read about these two men in first. You read about both these men in the book of Maccabees, right? You read about Jason, right? Jason, that wretch, wicked dude, right? And he had Onias the high priest, right? It's a mighty story on dealing with him in Second Maccabees chapter 3, right? So you hear about him, or you hear about him in there, right? So all these right here, Onias and Jason, these was Israelites. These was Israelites, right? Jason, he was wicked, right? And you had Onias, right? He was a high priest, right? He was a Levite, right? So boom. So you had this going on, right? And I'm gonna keep reading. It says, So let's keep. I don't want to read this. I guess we gonna jump around. What it says. And both Jason and Menelaus bribing the king to win the high priesthood and accusation of murder and competing contenders for the title. And again, Jason, he was wicked, right? And you read about that in the book of First and Second Maccabees, right? But I want to jump down where it says, let me jump down. It says, Hellenized Jews, right, are now, hold on. I'm gonna jump down to this. It says the Judean Hellenization, the most dramatic, and this what you had. This where you had the Hellenistic period. That's why when you get just I want to say just to say this too. This way you go in. So when you see Paul now on the scene, where you have Israelites that were Grecians, you said nor Jew nor Greek. Because you had Israelites that when you read it on First Maccabees, it was a time where it was unlawful for a man to call himself a Jew, right? So you had Jews that was Hellenistic, right? Living the life of Grecians, right? So that's where you get that whole thing from. So now you got Israelites wanting to live like the Grecians, so-called white men, right? Just like you got it now. Same thing now, right? But that's what you had going on. You know what I'm saying? So you had a whole bunch of wickedness just going on during this time, right? So when you go to First Maccabees, you will read about it, right? It says, let's go. All right. And we're gonna jump down. It says, and there came out of them a wicked root. This first Maccabees 1:10. And there came out of them a wicked root. Antiochus, surname Epiphanes, son of Antiochus, the king, who had been a hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 107th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. Right. So then you got Antiochus coming on the scene. This wicked and vile man. Right, just a demon. Nigga was a demon. Right. So you jump down. We're gonna just jump. It says, all right, yeah. I'm gonna just keep going. It says, dang, yeah. It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. That's when you go, you go back here. We talking about you have men like Jason, who's trying to get in cahoots, right, with the solutions, right? Like just wicked, man. Trying to get down with the heathen, right? Trying to bribe, trying to like just doing all kind of manner of wickedness, man. Trying to bribe the priesthood. That's madness, right? And he was, it was crazy. It was crazy. Treachery, betrayal, that type of stuff is going on, right? So that's what you hear when you see about this gymnasium, right? You see it says Jason converted Jerusalem to a Greek polis replete with gymnasium, right? This is when these niggas were exercising naked, right? They was exercising naked. That was going on, right? That's what the so-called white men do. That's what he get down, right? Your first gym, like how y'all go to now, it ain't the gym that you think it is. They used to work out naked. Just keep it simple, right? So this all it's all manner of wickedness going on, right? This was going on, right? So boom, go back to First Maccabees. That's why you hear why it says this. Let's keep reading. It says so it says, and it said, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have much sorrow. So this device pleased them well, and then certain of the people were so. Let's jump down. That's gonna jump down first thing. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem, according to the customs of the heathen. right? That's why again, right? You read right. That's why again, when you read this right here, what it just said, about Jerusalem, right? They're building a gym in Jerusalem. That's the gymnasium in Jerusalem, according to the heathen. You read about that here, right? Read about that here, right? And if you want to think that I'm lying, I'm gonna just go into it. He said, well, "How you know they was exercising naked?" Let's keep reading. It says, "Hellenized Jews are known to have engaged in non-surgical foreskin restoration in order to join the dominant Hellenistic culture practice of socializing naked in the gymnasium, where their circumcision would have carried a social stigma." Right, so this is insanely wicked. So they did uh a foreskin restoration. So they try to put the name, put this madness. These niggas, this is sick. So they started to basically put back have another foreskin again, because it's an Israelite custom for the Israelites to get circumcised, where they will remove the foreskins from their man parts. So you had Israelites trying to restore their foreskin to their man part just so they could socialize with the heathens butt naked in the gym. Like, this is crazy, but this is how our people live. This is how wicked, man, it's insane, but that's how our people are, bro. Wicked, man. And it's not all Israelites. Not all Israelites was doing this, right? But all this is in connection to the Hasmonean dynasty. But these are the things that was going on before you have this this thing, right? Man, it's wicked stuff going on. So let's go back to First Maccabees. And here you go. Right. And they made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief. So you had wicked Israelites doing all manner of evil, man. So let's jump to I want to see where I was trying to go with this. Let me see. I want to get a point. All right. It's right here. This is what I want to get. It says, yeah, I'm gonna get right here. It says, this jump out of verse 43. I'm still in First Maccabees, but I'm at verse 43. It says, "Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath day." So you got people that's consenting to the lifestyle of Antiochus, the wicked heathen, right? Profaning the Sabbath, right? Sacrificing idols, right? And they also polluted the sanctuary. Like, it was just a lot going on, right? And it says, for the king said, let me go back, let me jump down. It says, and forbid, for the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, that they should profane the Sabbaths, festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, right? Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. So this is the thing that's going on, right? This all getting to a point. So what you have is, we're gonna go ahead and leave this off. So this is setting the grounds again for the backdrop of the history of the Hasmonean dynasty. This is what was going on during those times. You had Israelites living like Grecians, right? You had Israelites living like the Grecians, right? You had different people, different nations in rulership. It was a lot going on. So amongst all these things, you had men that decided to buck up against the system. That's where we get the start of the Hasmonean dynasty, right? So in those days arose, this is what we get into. In those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest, the son of Joab from Jerusalem that dwelt in Modin. Right? So this is what we starting to get into the beginning of the Hasmonean dynasty, right? Where you have it says he had 5 sons. Jonan called Cadis, Simon called Thassi, Judas, who was called Maccabees, right? Maccabees. Eleazar called Aran, and Jonathan, whose surname was Apphus, right? And when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem, he said, "Woe is me, wherefore I was born to see this misery of my people and of the holy city, and dwelled there when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy in the sanctuary, into the hand of strangers." Right? So he seen the things that was going on, right? He disagreed with it. He didn't like what was going on, right? So it says, then Mattathias says, I'm gonna jump down, I'm jumping down. I'm kind of jumping. I'm jumping down to verse 14. Then Mattathias and his sons rent their clothes and put on sackcloth and mourn very sore. And meanwhile, the king's officers, such as compelled the people to revolt, came into the city of Modin to make them sacrifice. And when many of the Israel came unto them, so this is let's go to show y'all where Modin is as well. Because you might say, well, where is Modin? So Modin, that's not in Jerusalem. They're not in Jerusalem right now. This story, they're in Modin. So let's go to that so y'all can get a visual on Modin. All right, Modin. That's not what I'm trying to. Let me see this. Modin is hold on. Let me get a map. So I can see if I get a map, then I can identify what Modin was. Let me see if I get a map. Let me get a map on here. Jerusalem, man. No, I don't know why they got this, but I don't know this. Bear with me. I want to get a map so y'all can see, kind of get a visual of what we're talking about here. Let me see if I can I got a map right now, but it's not specifying places that I want it to be specified. Yeah, I don't like how this map is though. This map kind of crazy. It's crazy looking. Hold on, bear with me. I gotta get it off my screen. All right, I don't like how that map was. That map was kind of crazy. Let's see. Let's try this map out. Nah, it's not the map that I want, man. Let me see. Nah, okay. So, well, we just gonna use the map they got. I wanted to kind of show y'all. It's a certain map that you can pull up where it shows you where Modin is, right? But it's not popping up. So I'm gonna just show y'all the map that they got right now of where Modin is. So you kind of I don't Let me just show you. Let me just show y'all where Modin is now. But I want to show y'all what Modin is back then. But it's probably in the same area or region. But I'm gonna show y'all where Modin is. Yeah, so this is let me see, you probably can view it. What do you got it at? They ain't even got it on it. It's irksome. So I ain't gonna spend all my time on this, but I kind of just want to give brothers and sisters a visual, you know what I'm saying, of where Modin is on the map. So, but here is a version of what they got. Modin is right here, right? That's where it's at. Let's see. Make sure. Okay, hold on. Screen sharing. All right. All right. Okay. All right. So but this is what Modin is, right? So when you read about Mattathias, this is the area that they're in, right? That's the region that they're in. So it's kind of visual like where Modin is, right? So let's get back to where we was at. So I was trying to show y'all that visual. That's what I was trying to do, but let's get back to the scriptures though, right? So boom, you had Mattathias and his in that you got Mattathias rising up against the wickedness of this place, right? So it says let's kind of jump down a little bit. Let me jump down. It says let's jump down. It says now when I want to jump down. All right, so we're gonna jump down to this. So it says, so they joined. This is Mattathias with his sons and a couple of people that not a couple people, but people that wanted to revolt against the wickedness against the heathens that was going on. Right. So it says, so they joined their forces and smote sinful men in their anger and wicked men in their wrath, but the rest fled to the heathen for secure. Then Mattathias and his friends went round about and pulled down the altars. Right. So these men, this was you call the Maccabean revolt. Right. They start to revolt against all the wickedness that was going on, right? It says, and what children soever they found within the coast of Israel uncircumcised, those they circumcised valiantly, right? So they was doing a thing, right? They pursued also after proud men, and the work prospered in their hand, right? So they recovered the law out of the hand of the Gentiles and out of the hand of kings, neither suffered they the sinner to triumph, right? So these men they getting it in. They going to war, right? They're fighting back. They fighting for the laws of the Most High God, right? It says, now therefore it says, now when the time drew near that Mattathias should die, he said unto his sons, now have pride and rebuke God's strength in the time of destruction, in the wrath of indignation. Now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law, and give your lives to the covenant of your fathers. Right? So he's kind of talking to him, you know what I'm saying? Give him a beautiful and mighty speech through the Spirit, right? Then he kind of setting things up, right? So let's go to let me jump down to verse 64. It says, wherefore, my sons, be valiant and show yourselves men on the behalf of the law, for by it shall you obtain glory. And behold, I know that your brother Simon is a man of counsel. Give ear unto him all way, he shall be a father unto you. Right? He kind of sent his sons up, right? Tell him, this is what I want you to do, this is what I want you to do. As for Judas Maccabeus, right, he have been mighty and strong even from his youth. Let him be your captain and fight the battle of the people, right? So he set him up, get everything set up. So boom, he ended up dying, right? Now you got right the his sons getting set up, right? Again set up. So boom, right? So this way you got this is where you go into the Maccabean revolt, right? We talking Maccabean revolt. Now the Maccabean revolt, right? This is them fighting back, and this is basically them securing, right, land and things for the Hasmonean dynasty, right? It's all gonna play into that, right? So it says the author of the first Maccabees regarded the Maccabean revolt as a rising of pious Jews against the Seleucid king who had tried to eradicate the religion and against the Jews who supported him, right? So you had the Maccabean revolt, right? That's why our people they're bucking up against this wickedness, right? So they going to war with Antiochus, I mean, all the different men that's all the different wicked men, right? So let's jump down. So it says, according to First and Second Maccabees, the priestly family of Mattathias, right, which came to be known as Maccabees, called the people forth to holy war against Seleucus. Mattathias' son Judas, right? This is we was talking about when we mentioned Judas, right? Jonathan and Simon began a military campaign. Initially, with disastrous results, 1,000 Jewish men and women and children were killed by Seleucid troops because they refused to fight, right? And that's when you read in First Maccabees when the chapter 2, right? How they had ended up getting killed because the heathen came and attacked them on the Sabbath day, right? And the brothers they didn't fight back because it was Sabbath day. But then they made a pact with each other. They said, "Hey man, we can't let this happen again." You know what I'm saying? We can't sit here and let these people just destroy us. If we do this, we're not going to survive this, right? So they made a pathway, man. They come. Any day they come at us, we going to war. We going to war about it, right? So that's what happened. Other Jews then they reasoned that they might fight. They must fight when attacked, even on the Sabbath day, right? That's that same passage reading is it was in there, right? Matter of fact, I'll go to it real fast. Right? It says first Maccabees chapter 2 and 41 says, at that time, therefore they decreed, saying, whosoever shall come to make battle with us on the Sabbath day, we will fight against him, neither will we die all as our brothers that were murdered in the secret places. So that's when they made that pact, right? So let's go back to where we was at, right? So this is them starting this military campaign, right? And it says the institution of guerrilla warfare practices by Judah. So this is where you start to get guerrilla warfare, and the guerrilla warfare is a beautiful tactic, right? And this is what they was doing against the heathen, right? Guerrilla warfare, right? It was these are forefathers. Our forefathers they was getting in, right? So matter of fact, let's get the different let me get the map up. All right, vote. I'm gonna show y'all something. So y'all can see the different so you had right here. Oh no. Hold on. I'm gonna show y'all a little chart of the sons of Maccabees, right? So right here, this is the and I don't know if I don't know if I can zoom in. Let me see if I can zoom in. Can't zoom in. Hey, hold on, bear with me. This girl. Hold on. Bear with me. You put a all right, hold on. All right, Salaki about that. So boom. All right, so back to what we was doing. Sons of Methathai, so y'all kind of get the backdrop. All right. All right, here we go. So you had and it's all going into the Hasmonean Dynasty. You had you got right here. So you got Mattathias right here. You got Mattathias. You got John, Simon, Judas, Maccabees, Eleazar, Jonathan. You got John Hernandez, right? You got all. This is the family tree, right? This is all the Hasmonean dynasty right here, right? Hasmonean dynasty, right? Hasmonean dynasty, right? As in the family tree. So let's go to let's go to kind of got a visual on that. I want to get a visual so y'all kind of see, you know what I'm saying, who these family members was. So let's go back to where we was at. So boom. So then we're gonna jump down. It says towards the end of the 164, Judah felt strong enough to enter Jerusalem and former religious worship with Yahweh was reestablished. The feast of Hanukkah was instituted, and that's what you have, the feast of dedication, right? You read about that in First Maccabees chapter 4, right? We're gonna jump to that real fast. Okay. First Maccabees chapter 4. And we're gonna jump down to 40. We're gonna start at 52. Now on the, because I'm not gonna read this whole thing, but it says now on the fifth, I'm gonna get straight to the point. On the fifth, the 5 and 20 day of the 9th month, which is called the month Casu, in the 148 year, they rose up betimes in morning and offered sacrifice according to the law upon the new altar. So they rededicated the temple, right? Because they had to put they had to create a whole new altar. The old altar, they had to destroy that whole thing, right? That's when you read up, right? When you read up, they had to read up. I'm just read up. I was trying to. I'm going to verse 41. It says, then Judas appointed certain men to fight against those that were in the fortress, right? Until he had cleansed the sanctuary, because they had to clean the sanctuary because it was profane. That's when you read the profane and defiled, which you read about in First Maccabees chapter 1, where how it's talking about how the Israelites started doing, wicked things and profaning the sanctuary and things like that in the holy places, right? So he chose priests of blameless conversation, such as had pleasure in the law, who cleanse the sanctuary and bear out the defiled stones into an unclean place. So that's what you have going on. They had to cast out the old stones, right? And through the Spirit, we gotta cast out that old man. No, the ways of the life of the old man. We gotta cast those things away, right? Throw those, get that up off us, right? Remove that from us, right? We gotta remove, just like they had to remove the foul stones. We gotta remove the ways of the old man, right? We gotta remove the ways of the flesh, right? We gotta remove the defiled, unclean things and ways away from us, right? So they cleanse the temple, right? And it says, can you jump to verse 45? It says, they thought it best to pull it down, lest it should be a reproach to them, because the heathen had defiled it, wherefore they pulled it down and laid up the stones in a mountain of the temple in a convenient place, until there should come a prophet to show what should be done with them. Then they took whole stones according to the law and built a new altar according to the former. Right? So they did that, and then we're going to jump down to verse 59. It says, moreover, Judas and his brethren with the whole congregation of Israel ordained that the days of dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year by the space of 8 days, in the 25th day of the month Caslu, with mirth and gladness. So there you have the feast of dedication, Hanukkah, right? So let's go back to where we was, right? So you got that going on, right? Now it says from revolt to independence, right? It says after 5 years of war and rage, Judah sought an alliance with the Roman Republic to remove the Greeks. In the year 161 BC, he sent Eupolemus, the son of Johanan, and Jason, the son of Eleazar, to make league of a mighty and confederacy with the Romans. A Seleucid army under General Nicanor was defeated by Judah. Right, and that's why you have the day called the destruction of Nicanor. That's actually a day that they kept as well, right? So, of the battle of Adasa, right, when Nicanor himself killed in action. Next, Bacchides was sent with alchemists in an army of 20,000 infantry and 20,000 infantry and 2,000 cavalry, and met Judah in the battle of Lacia, right? Lacia, where this time it was the Hasmonean commander who was killed, right? So this is the time when Judas got killed, but that didn't stop anything, right? They just set up a different brother was set up after him, right? So it says, I'm gonna jump down, and you read about this also in First and Second Maccabees, right? Let's jump down. It says Jonathan. I'm gonna jump down when they had put Jonathan. And like I said, all this is we can, matter of fact, let's get it in the scriptures, man. Let's get it in the scriptures. But all this is going into this is the Hasmonean dynasty right here we're going to. This is the Hasmonean dynasty. But this is all the different things that was going on through the Hasmonean dynasty. So what you had the Israelites, wicked Israelites that was conforming to the ways of the Grecians, and then you had a certain family of the family of Mattathias. That's why I brought that map out so you can see what I'm talking about. You had these people on this map right here. these people stood up and fought against, right, the other nations, right? You had Judas, right? Then after Judas, you had Jonathan. Then after Jonathan, you had Simon. And this right here, again, was the Hasmonean dynasty, right? So again, so boom. Oh yeah, my bad, Salakia. Let me go to this right quick so y'all can see. All right. Bear with me. Bear with me. I'm gonna show y'all something. How this all correlates also to through the scriptures. I'm gonna show you how this all correlates together, right? So, and I want to point something out too. It says the Hasmonean. They called Judas a Hasmonean. They call him. I mean not Judas. They call Judas Maccabee. They called him the Hasmonean commander. Let me see. That's where you get that name. I only got a what that really means. Let's see. Before I move on, hold on. It says I want to say that the family name of the Hasmonean dynasty originates. I want to get that name so we can know where it all come from too. It says it originates from the ancestor or of the house of whom Josephus called by the Hellenized. Josephus came up with that name. Okay, con. Right. So anyways, who is that? Let's go back. So we're gonna go into how Judas Maccabees, after he died, right? Jonathan got set up, right? So let's jump down to the jump time. Let's go straight up to it. All right. So it says, we're going to go to this first Maccabees chapter 9, and I'm going to start at verse number 14. Now, when Judas perceived, like we were just reading, we're going into it now. We're reading from the scriptures. Now, when Judas perceived that Bacchus and the strength of his army were on the right side, he took with him all the hardy men who discomfited the right wing and pursued them unto the mount of Azotus. But when they of the left saw that the day of the right wing were discomfited, they followed upon Judas and those that were with him hard at the heels from behind, whereupon there was a sore battle, insomuch as many were slain in both parts. Judas also was killed, and the remnant fled. So that's you had the death of Judas, right? Now we're gonna go down to verse 28, right? So with Jonathan, he gets to the picture. It says, for this cause, all Judas' friends came together and said unto Jonathan, since thy brother Judas died, we have no man like him to go forth against our enemies, and because and against them of our nation that are adversaries to us. Now therefore we have chosen thee this day to be our prince and captain in his stead, that thou mayest fight our battles. Right? Upon this, Jonathan took to the governance upon him, and at that time and rose up instead of his brother Judas. Right? So there you go. You got that's that out of the scriptures. So now you got Okay, now you got Jonathan in rulership, right? So let's jump down. Let's jump down. So now you got the now this and this right here on this side here, you have a little timeline. You can kind of see it a little bit, right? So you have a timeline, and then it's going to where you have Alexander Bolus appoints Jonathan high priest after victory in 150 BC. Jonathan becomes civil governor of Israel, right? That's after his brother died, right? Then you got says Hasmonean Dynasty. So now then you got Simon Thassi, right, which is Jonathan's brother. He comes up next in the stead, right? So let's go to let's see what they got on here, right? So it says let's see what they got here. Let's see the jump down. Okay, that's what I want. All right, so it says let's jump down. That's what I said. So it's like it says, like Judah in former years, Jonathan saw alliances in foreign peoples. He renewed the treaty with the Roman public. Like I said, it was a lot going on. Like I don't want to read the whole thing, but you had, Jonathan. He's in rulership, right? So it says, he renewed the treaty with the Roman Republic and exchanged friendly messages with Sparta and other places. However, the documents referring to those diplomatic events are it says Diodotus Tryphon went with an army to Judea and invited Jonathan to Scythopolis for a friendly conference where he persuaded him to dismiss his army of 40,000 men, promising that's the so-called white man for you, man. These niggas they crafty. To give him Ptolemaeus and other fortresses, Jonathan fell into a trap. He took with him Ptolemaeus 1,000 men, and all of whom were slain, he himself taken prisoner. Right? So you got that going on. So let's get that real fast. Let's get that real fast. Okay. Let's see this jump down. Where we at? See, bear with me. We back in the Bible. We want to get into the Bible about this thing. So it says let me see. Get this thing. I want to show y'all, you know what I'm saying? Again, how this all correlates together, what we read it on the web, and how it correlates to actual things in the Bible. Right? So and then yeah, here it is. Now this is the account that they was talking about. It says, I'm gonna just go this first Maccabees chapter 12, and we at verse 44. Now it says, unto Jonathan also he said, why hast thou put all this people to so great trouble, seeing there is no war betwixt us? This is the heathen talking, right? This Tryphon talking, right? He said, why bring all these people? Being very crafty. There ain't no battle betwixt us. We ain't beefing. Ain't nothing going on, right? Deceitful. But I tell you not to trust thy enemies, right? It said also his words be smooth like butter, right? Hey, man, you can't trust this, man. They had the words of butter, man. We don't need that. You ain't gotta do that, right? Therefore, send them now home again. This man had 40,000 men with him. He told him, hey, send them home, right? And choose a few men to wait on thee and come down with me to Ptolemaeus, for I will give it thee and the rest of the strongholds and forces, and all that have any charge. As for me, I will return and depart, for this is the cause of my coming. So Jonathan believed in him. Can't be believing these people, man. Did as he bade him and sent away his host, who went into the land of Judea and with himself, and he retained but 3,000 men, of whom he sent 2,000 to Galilee, and 1,000 went with him. Now, as soon as Jonathan entered into Ptolemy, they of Ptolemy shut the gates and took him, and all them that came with him, they showed with the sword. So they trapped them, they trapped them, they took them. Right? It says, then sent Tryphon and host of footmen and horsemen into Galilee and to a great plain to destroy all Jonathan's company. So the company that the 2,000 he sent to Galilee, right? He done Tryphon. He done went and he done sent men to go destroy them. But when they knew that Jonathan and they that were with him were taken and slain, they encouraged one another and went close together, prepared to fight. They therefore that followed upon them, perceiving they were ready to fight for their lives, turned back again. Whereupon all came into the land of Judea peaceably, and there they bewailed Jonathan and them that were with him, and they were so afraid. Wherefore all Israel made great lamentation. All right, so Jonathan was taken. After Jonathan, you got Simon. Says now when Simon, we're going on chapter 13. Says now when Simon had heard that Tryphon had gathered together a great host to invade the land of Judea to destroy it, and saw that the people was in a great trembling and fear, he went up to Jerusalem and gathered the people together. So then you got Simon. Now Simon is stepping up, right? So you got Simon, him going at it with Tryphon. I ain't gonna read this whole thing. So now you got Simon, he set up, right? So now, so he said, it says, when Diotis Tryphon was about, when Diotis Tryphon was about to enter Judea at Hadid, he was confronted by the new Jewish leader, I ain't gonna say Jewish, but new Jew leader, Simon, ready for battle. Tryphon avoiding an engagement, demanded 100 talents and Jonathan 2 sons as hostages in return, for which he promised to liberate Jonathan. Although Simon did not trust Tryphon, he complied with the request that he might not be accused of the death of his brother, but Tryphon did not liberate his prisoner. So so-called white man trying to strike a deal, right? And it's constantly lying, bro. Constantly being deceitful, right? So let's go back to that too. I want to read that. All right, we're gonna be here about 2 hours. Right, but it's a lot that be going on when it comes to the Hasmonean Dynasty, though. It was a lot going on, man, during those times. So you had basically Simon on the scene, right? You had Simon on the scene, and let's go to biblically, right? Simon on the scene. You got Tryphon and took the man brother, right? Madness. You see what else I was gonna get at? Let's see what else we're gonna get. Mm. Bear with me. I'm right here. Bear with me. I want to see. Okay. Let me jump down. So I want to get basically actually I'm gonna go into like from sun to sun, so you can kind of see the different rulerships of it. All right, it says let me see. There we go. There we go. All right, so boom. So here we go. We had first Maccabees chapter 16 and we had 14. Now Simon was visiting the cities that were in the country and taking care of the good ordering of them, at which time he came down himself to Jericho with his sons Mattathias and Judas in 167th year in the 11th month called Sabbat, where the sons of Ababus receiving them deceitfully into it was a lot of deceit, treachery, lies, betrayal going on also in this time period. You got so-called white men making covenants, then breaking them, saying I'm gonna do this, and then he's not doing it. You got Israelites betraying Israelites. I mean, it was you had good times when Judas was reigning, right? But anyway, it ended up happening. He ended up dying, right? But it's all good because you know what I'm saying. It's all good because our people chose to stand up and to fight against evil, to fight against oppression and tyranny. So it's all good. It just sometimes, hey man, things happen, right? Right, and like I said in scriptures, don't think you're not going. You gonna only receive rough paraphrasing that you only gonna receive good of the Lord, right? So, but a lot of things just kind of went down in this time period, man. You know, but anyways, back to what it says where the son of Ababus, receiving them deceitfully into a little hole called Docus, which he had built, made them a great banquet. Howbeit he had hid men there. So he done threw a banquet. Now this is what Simon's in rulership. So we seen what happened to Jonathan. Jonathan got trapped. Listening believing Tryphon. Tryphon untrapped the man. Now boom, now we got Simon on the scene. Simon on the scene, he chilling, he ended up getting tricked into a banquet. Right? And it says, so when Simon and his sons had drunk largely, Ptolemy and his men rose up and took their weapons and came upon Simon into the banqueting place and slew him and his two sons and certain of his servants. So then now you got Simon got killed, right? And in doing, he committed a great treachery and recompense evil for good. Right? So that's what you have here. It said that Simon led this we back here. Simon led the people. Now we back at the thing that we was reading, the document that we was reading. Simon led the people in peace and prosperity until February 135 BC. He was assassinated at the instigation of his son-in-law Ptolemy, right? And this man's son-in-law. This is madness, man. Right? This is crazy. Right? Own son-in-law. Right? Who had been named governor of the region by Seleucus. Simon's eldest son Mattathias and Judah were also murdered. Right? So that's when you had that this map right here. Right, you got Simon right here. This is Simon's This is Simon's lineage right here. You got Simon right here. So you got Judas, you got Mattathias, right? They got murdered with Simon at the banquet that we read about in First Maccabees chapter 16. But then you got here the other son, which was John Hernicus. Now he's going to rise up, right? And then you see him also here, right here on this thing here. This on this timeline here, it says John Hyrcanus gained. Oh, I'm gonna show y'all. John Hyrcanus gains full independence and begins conquest 110 BCE. Right? So that's what you have there. Okay. Now let's go back where we was at. Hey, how I get this on? I'm trying to get how I get this. How I undo it. Okay, that's what I did. Okay. So you got that. So let's go back to the Bible. All right. Is this the morning? No. So it says, hold on. Wait, hold on. Why is it doing that? All right. So it says, then Ptolemy, this First Maccabees chapter 16 verse 18 says, then Ptolemy wrote these things and sent to the king that he should send him and hosts to aid him, and he would deliver him to the country and the cities. He sent others also to Gaza to kill John, and unto tribunes he sent letters to come unto him, that he might give them silver and gold and rewards. Others he sent to take Jerusalem and in the mountain of the temple. No one had run afore to Gaza and told John. No, now one had run before to Gaza and told John that his father and brother were slain, and quoth Ptolemy has sent him to slay thee also. Hereof, when he heard, he was so astonished, so he laid hands on them that were come to destroy him, and slew them, for he knew that they sought to make him away. As concerning the rest of the acts of John in his wars and worthy deeds which he did, in the building of the walls which he made in his doings, behold, all these are written in the chronicles of his priesthood from the time he was made high priest after his father. So that's when you have John Harnicus, right? Boom. He in rulership. He many wars, and he basically, when he was on the scene, that's when they really had full independence, right? Gains full independence and begins his conquest. So that's what you have there. So let's see. Right, it says let me read this. Let me show y'all this. So it says in 1335 BCE, John Hernicus' son, Simon's third son, assumed leadership as both the high priest and ethnarch, taking a Greek regnal name C of Harnica. That's what I got it. In acceptance of a Hellenistic culture out of his Seleucid suzerains within a year of the death of Simon. Seleucid king Antiochus Let's say this. Attacked Jerusalem. According to Josephus, John Hardnick opened King David's sepulchre and removed 3,000 talents, which he paid as a tribute. So now all this all this going this is documented from historian Josephus, because after the and we read First Maccabees, that's the end of First Maccabees right there. That's the end of First Maccabees, chapter 16. That's the last chapter, right? And when you go back to we go to chapter 2, I mean Second Maccabees, it's going into kind of the same story we just went. And Second Maccabees, it ends with the death of Nicanor. Right? It ends with the death of Nicanor. Yeah. Yeah, it only has, I want to say it just have 14 chapters. Oh no, just 15 chapters. Yeah. It ends off, there's I want to say, yeah, it ends off with the death of Nicanor. After Nicanor, that was it. So it ain't too much on that on the Hasmonean Dynasty and First Maccabees left on that, right? It's kind of like leaves off that in the script. So we go into the accounts wrote down by Josephus, right? And all these still are people too. These are Israelites, right? These are Israelites. So yeah. Anyways, it says, and he paid. Oh yeah, and he paid as a tribute to spare the city. Right, he remained governor as a Seleucid vassal for the next 2 decades of his reign. Hardnick continued, like his father, to rule semi-synonymously from the Seleucids. Right, the Seleucid Empire had been disintegrating. The Seleucid Empire has been disintegrating in the face of the Seleucid Parthian wars, and in 129 BCE, Antiochus Sidetes or Euergetes, right? Euergetes was killed in Medea by the forces of Phraates II of Parthia. So Phraates II was a king of the Parthian Empire from. So let's see if we get a map on this Parthian Empire. All right, what battle was that? So let's see. Euergetes. What is his name? You gotta look into these things, man. It get kind of crazy. Not crazy, but it get kind of interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, this history, right? But this let's look at yeah, Sidetes. Antiochus Sidetes killed. Okay. This all Sidetes killed. So now this is going to wait, let me see. Okay, yeah. So this battle, right, was the battle of what is that? My bad, just what is that? What is that? Bear with me, hold on. I just seen it. That's what I was trying to get, yeah, right there. I'm trying to see why I won't go straight to it. Let me see, because it keep switching on. I'm trying to get it. was reading that. I'm gonna just read it from where I seen it at. I'm gonna just read where I seen it at. It says, in a barren valley, he was ambushed and killed in the battle of Ecbatana by Phraates II and a large force of the Parthians who had entered into the country without being detected. Right. So now that's just secular history on the ruler at that time that was ruling that solution ruler that was ruling at the time, right, of John Harkness, right? But he ended up getting killed by the Parthians, right? So boom. So right now, this provided opportunity for a semi-independent solution client states such as Judea to revolt. This is why it's important. So now we gotta say boom. So now the death of Antiochus Sedates, right? Or what's his nickname or other name, or also known as Antiochus the Pious, right? Antiochus Euergetes, right? These might have all kind of names, but yeah. So, but after his death though, that was basically kind of like the downfall of because I already said it was the Seleucid Empire was already disintegrating, right? When they wars with the Parthians, right? So the Parthians went ahead and took them out was the force of Phraates II, right? Of Parthia, right? So doing this though, it says this provided opportunity for a semi-independent solution client states such as Judea to revolt in 110 BCE. John Harkness, which is still our people, carried out the first military conquest of the newly independent Hasmonean kingdom, raising a mercenary army to capture Madaba and Shechem, significantly increasing his regional influence. Right? So Hyrcanus conquered Transjordan, Samaria, and Idumea, also known as Edom, and forced Idumeans to convert. I don't know all that. But so we had this. So I'm bring up a map. So this is what it's talking about. Right? They ruled. He took over Samaria, Transjordan, right, and even took over Edom. And this was Idumea right here in this region right here. Idumea is in this region right here, right? And he took that over, right? He took that over, right? So this was our people. This is our forefathers. They took all this land, right? They took all this land. It started though. It started off with Mattathias, right? With his sons, right? And it trickled on. It went from Judas, then Jonathan, right? You look at his map. You look what's going on. Judea after the Hasmonean revolt, right? This is Judea after the Hasmonean revolt. We had a little bit of land, right? Then Jonathan got on the scene. Then we got a little bit more, right? Then Simon came on the scene. Then we got a little bit more. Then when John Harkness got on the scene, we got even more, right? And this was growing and growing, right? So that's what you have as the Hasmonean dynasty, right? Then you got to go to Astribulus, right? Astribulus, right? And that goes to Astribulus. That's the son. That's out of the lineage of John Harkness, right? You got Astribulus the first, right? His son, right? So he ruled from let's see that. Oh, let me go back. Oh, share screen. Man, let's see what I was at. Right here. I want to show you. Yeah. So you had. So now John. So now we got after John Harkness, right? John Harkness. Then you got Astribulus or Aristobulus, something like that. You know, A. Right. So you got him on the scene, right? So you got John Harkness, right? He ruled from 134 BC to 104 BC. So after him, you have his son, right? So let's go to that. Now all this again is the Hasmonean dynasty, right? And he just said the real darker portions of the red. It said this land was acquired under the under the Astribulus his son right here. This my bad. The darker regions, the darkest red was expansion under Astribulus, right? So let's go back. So again, this is the highest moon down. So we're gonna keep going till we get to the end. Right? We almost to the end. Right? It says so we out here with distributors, right? So it says Harkness subdued all the Idumeans, so-called white men, and permitted them to stay in that country if they would circumcise. Okay. So they circumcised their genitals and made use of the laws of the Jews, and they were so desirous of living in the country of their forefathers that they submitted. Right. So you had still some Edomites in that land. So you had some Edomites that went off, right? And they became the Grecians as we know it, right? And you got some Edomites that went off and became the Romans as we know it, and then you have some Edomites that still stayed in the land of Idumea, right? So you got different sects of Edomites, just like you got Edomites that's Russians, you know what I'm saying? You got Edomites that's Europe, French. You got German Edomites. They all Edomites, just different sects of them. Then you got American Edomites, right? So-called white. You know what I'm saying? All of them so-called white men, right? Just different sects, right? Different sections of them, right? So boom. It says he desired his wife succeed him as a head of government, with his eldest son, 5 sons, Astribulus, becoming only high priest. Right upon Harkness' death in 104 BC, however, Aristobulus, the first jailed his 3 brothers, including Alexander Janus and his mother, and allowed her to starve there. By this means, he came into possession of the throne. Dang, jailed his own brothers, man. That's crazy, right? And in possession of the throne, and became the first Hasmonean to take the title of king, exerting the newfound independence of the state. Subsequently, he conquered Galilee. Aristobulus died after a painful illness, and that shows you, man, right? That's judgment of Most High, right? He starved out his brothers, imprisoned his brothers, right? And then boom, the Lord, his reign wasn't even that long, right? So it doesn't pay being wicked, man. It doesn't pay to being wicked. A Lord strike him down with an illness, right? Aristobulus' brothers were freed from prison by his widow. One of them, Alexander Janus, reigned as king as well as high priest from 103 to 76 BC. During his reign, he conquered Italy and, according to Josephus, forcibly converted its Italians to Judaism. He died during the siege of the fortress Ragaba in 87 BC, according to Josephus, following the 6-year civil war, involving Seleucid king Demetrius the third, Euarchus, Hasmonean ruler Alexander Janus crucified 800 uh Jew rebels in Jerusalem. The Hasmonean lost their territories acquired in Transjordan during the 93 BC Battle of Gadaria, right, where the Nabateans ambushed Janus and his forces in a hilly area. The Nabateans saw the acquisitions as a threat of their interest and used large number of camels to push the Hasmonean forces into Deep Valley, where Janus was lucky to escape alive. Janus turned to fierce uh, Jew opposition in Jerusalem after his defeat, and had a seed that acquired territories of Nabateans so that he could dissuade them from supporting his opponents in Judea. Right? So Alexander was followed by his wife, Salome Alexander, who reigned from 76 to 67 BC. She was the only regent Jewish queen in the Second Temple period, having followed usurper Queen Athaliah. All right, and right, hold on. Let's go to some of this matter now. Right. So this is what we have here. So then he died, and then let's look at this right quick. So here we got Alexander Janus, right? So he married Salome Alexandria. Now I'm not sure what's the well she might okay. So it says it was her. Then she ended up was a queen ruling. So what the heck? Okay, yeah. It's crazy. So then you had Astribulus, right? Number 2, and so forth, right? And then you got man, it get crazy, man. So I'm trying to figure out so they had a son though, Astribulus the second. I want to say, yeah, Alexander Janus had Aristobulus the second, and Hyrcanus 2. All right, Hyrcanus 2, right? Nominal ruler about 63 to 43 BC. So down at this time, this is all the time periods right before Christ came on the scene, right? So you got all these things going on, right? So that was a little not a little, that was some history just going into the Hasmonean dynasty as in the beginning when Alexander was on the scene. So when you had the Maccabean revolt, then you had the sons dying out and so forth and so forth. So Lord will now is edifying, right? But want to give all honor to how about Shemel Shai, right? And Shalom. Kwame Shalom.